Good afternoon, everybody. At the age of 6, my parents decided that our present was not enough, that our family deserved better. They made the decision of leaving our extended family, their friends, and our memories behind for a better future for their 2 little girls, Karina, at the age of 8, and myself, at the age of 6. My parents sacrificed what was once considered home for the American dream, a life full of hardships, struggles, and sacrifices. Yet, the American dream was everything to them, regardless of the sleepless nights, double shifts, and little to no time with their 2 little girls. They left everything behind to give us the opportunity of obtaining an education. Throughout the years, I noticed the work ethic of my parents. They worked twice as hard. I didn't know why, I didn't understand why they were so strict on our education, on getting good grades and never missing a day of school. I didn't understand many things until the 8th grade. It was that time of the year in which the 8th graders would fundraise to pay for the traditional Washington, D.C. trip. I was eager to get home that day. Our history teacher gave us the application. I knew my parents, with a little convincing, would sign off and give me money to spend out there in D.C. Little did I know that my reality was much more difficult than obtaining a signature to D.C. It was time for my parents to come home after their first shift. I made sure everything was perfect. I made them lunch and cleaned the house. Once I sat both of my parents down, I showed them my report card full of straight A's. I then showed them 3 honor certificates and made sure that the application was last, because I knew that with a little convincing, they would see my hard work and they would sign off without hesitation. I asked them, "Mom, Dad, can you allow me to go to the 8th grade trip to DC?" I was shocked that their answer was no. I was so confused. I worked so hard. I kept a high GPA on top of playing club soccer and volunteering at school, mentoring my peers in math. Why is it that I cannot go? Did I do something wrong? My father let out a tear and hugged me. He said, "I'm sorry, little one. We're so proud of you, but if we let you go, you will not be able to come home. We are not from here. We are undocumented." I'm sure you can imagine how I felt. My heart sunk. This was the very first time I was told I was undocumented. That summer, I realized that if I continued doing good in school, I could one day graduate and make enough money to go to DC. As you could see, I didn't fully understand what it meant to be undocumented. That summer, I went to a math camp which would prepare me for high school's honors math. That's when I found out about the famous acronym, AVID, which stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. This acronym caught my attention, not just because I was a determined individual, but because I needed to find a way to graduate high school. Since our family began to grow, my parents found a bigger home in a nearby city, which meant that we had to move schools. My parents found a school that offered the same AVID program I was currently in. However, this AVID program at this new high school was where my future was. That year, 2011, I met the AVID coordinator, Mrs. Robin Nelson, whom I instantly admired. This lady was so compassionate, so attentive, and so focused to detail. She made sure I turned everything necessary to get into AVID at this new school, and once enrolled, she became my AVID teacher. On June 15, 2012, President Obama instituted a piece of legislation that would change undocumented youth forever, known as DACA, which stands for Deferred Action of Childhood Arrivals. This legislation allowed us, undocumented youth, to apply and obtain a driver's license, a social security number that would allow us to obtain jobs, and the privilege of applying to scholarships. In order to be eligible for DACA, you need to show proof to immigration that you have been in the United States before your 15th birthday and before June 15, 2012. This piece of legislation made our dreams attainable. I sent my application to immigration, and soon after, they were requesting a letter from a witness that could verify my presence on June 2011. That's when my avid teacher, Mrs. Nelson, became more than just my teacher. She became family. She was the very first person I ever trusted with my status. I was so afraid that she would judge me when she knew I was not from here. However, she was so understanding and wrote that letter verifying I was in school that June. The name Mrs. Nelson no longer applied. She became Mother Nelson. I share this with you so you could fully understand what it's like to be in my shoes. I am one of 11 million undocumented people and one of 800,000 DACA students in the United States. I was supposed to be a statistic. My future was destined to be a high school dropout because I am a woman, low income, undocumented, first generation student. However, Avid changed that for me. Avid allowed me to dream and set my standards high. It gave me the courage of working hard for my goals and taught me how to persevere until I reached them. Avid gave me a family who understood how difficult my journey was, yet stood by me. I graduated high school with an exceptional resume. I had 23 high school certificates, 11 senator recognitions for being an outstanding student. I was an intern at Kaiser Permanente, and that same year, I was accepted to intern at Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. Not only did I graduate high school, but I was also pinned as a medical assistant, all at the age of 17. Without Avid and Mother Nelson, I don't think I could have accomplished any of this. With all the college tours, college presentations, Socratic seminars, binder and grade checks, I had absolutely no time to worry about all of the noise around me. My only worry was graduating high school and becoming the first person in my family to make it to university. I am now semesters away from obtaining my bachelor's degree in biology. My goal is to become a doctor and help families in need. Throughout my journey, I continue to thank Mother Nelson for always going out of her way to find resources that would help me go to college. Now that I'm in college, I continue using all of the tools Avid gave me to succeed. As a DACA student, I worry about the daily news. Unfortunately, I worry about checking Twitter multiple times a day to see if the president has tweeted anything that would affect DACA. I worry about my future as a student. I worry about losing my DACA and not being able to continue going to school because of it. Despite all of this, DACA or not, I will find a way to reach my goals and not live in fear. Because Avid gave me a family. It gave me everything I need to succeed, to persevere, and most of all, it gave me the greatest treasure I possess, which is my education. Thank you to all of you here for your time, dedication, and support.